Owen stood quietly in his dark bedroom, watching the sun rise through a window. He had an excellent view of the town and could see the deserted streets. He loved when everyone was still asleep, and Hopewell was silent. But one thing about his view was off, and he just couldn't quite put his finger on it. He turned towards the bed, where his girlfriend Abby slept. She worked the night shifts at the hospital, so she was always crawling into bed just as Owen was waking up. Once he returned his gaze to the window, Owen finally knew what was bothering him. Usually, he could see clear across town, right to the recreation center. But now, he could only see to the pharmacy where he worked. There wasn't even any fog. It was as if the rec center had just vanished. At 8:30 a.m., Owen was on his way to work. He liked being a pharmacist. He walked down Main Street, passing restaurants, shops, a library, a school, and the hospital. He waved happily to the people he saw on the street. Owen reached the pharmacy on the outskirts of town and stopped, dead in his tracks. The recreation center was, in fact, gone. It used to mark the end of the town, but now the pharmacy was the last building. Did they tear down the rec center? He asked a coworker of his once he was inside the pharmacy. Isn't that the strangest thing? Everyone's talking about it. It just up and disappeared during the night. His coworker replied. Owen left work around 6 p.m. as it was getting dark and went to Al's Diner for a bite. Once he left the restaurant, he looked towards the end of town. And to Owen's horror, saw that the pharmacy and the neighboring clothing store had now disappeared into the surrounding darkness. It was as if the town was shrinking. An emergency meeting was called. Apparently, there were a couple people in the clothing store who had vanished along with the building. Everyone was terrified, and the town officials had no solutions. Owen didn't want to go to sleep that night, petrified of what else might disappear during the night. The next day, the blackness around them had swallowed more buildings and more people. Residents holed up in the school in the center of town. Owen couldn't find Abby anywhere. And that's when he found out that the hospital had been evaporated too. Owen cried himself to sleep that night. The following morning, he looked out of the window and saw nothing but infinite darkness surrounding him completely. Mindy Peterson sat grumpily by her fireplace. She was fuming from her last phone call, when her agent told her that due to low sales, they would not be picking up her latest book in the Town of Hopewell series. She had immediately downed a glass of whiskey and then began burning her manuscript, page by page. She picked up another sheet and saw it was where she introduced the character Owen for the first time. "I'm sorry, Owen," she said sadly, before placing the paper into the flames.